Welcome back, y'all. Let's talk about the latest episode of Love Island. This was episode 21, and I named it independently as Casa No More because the crew is no longer in Casa Amor. And one thing that I do love about this show is it's very objective. You see so many different perspectives when I go online. I see fan of Maya Papaya. I see Team Ace and Shelly. I see that the hater. So I love this show, and it just goes to prove that you could be in the same room watching the exact same show and felt a certain way about something and the other person felt completely different. So it's definitely a conversation piece. And I want to have a conversation. This episode picks up with Nick and Olandria kissing in Soul Ties. And if you were anything like me, you were not here for it. It felt rehearsed. It felt forced. I just didn't like it. I wasn't here for it. And one thing about Nick that I don't like is he have no sense of knowing when to sit still. Like anytime something new comes in, he just hops right on it. And for me, I know that him and Olandria had to make a decision to couple up in order to come back to the villa. So I understood it. But there's no reason why he should have even tried to explore Olandria. Like at the beginning, yes, I understood that they had kind of a physical attraction and they both kind of pulled each other during the challenges and chose one another to kiss. But I feel like if you didn't pull her to the side at any point during these 2.5 weeks that y'all been in the villa to see if there was a connection there, then it was kind of pointless to do it here, especially considering how close her and Sierra are and how close he and Taylor are. Anyway, I didn't like it. And when I say he doesn't know how to sit still, I mean, this is why I think I like Ace, because I do recognize that he liked Shelly early on, but he still did explore other women. But even when Coco came in, and don't get me wrong, at face value, she is a bad woman, okay? Minus that orange tooth on the side. Did y'all see that orange tooth? Because I saw that orange tooth, and I don't know how to feel about it. Neither here nor there. Ace doesn't jump on women like that. And I think that's what makes him more attractive to me. He knows how to take his time, have a decent conversation, establish some likeness, right, of a person before just hopping all in, I guess, like Jeremiah did with Huda and like Taylor did with Clark. But I do appreciate someone also that sees what they want and go for it and tune everything else out and just focus on it. So anyway, I wish Nick would have more wherewithal when it comes to sitting still. Taylor. Taylor walking around this damn villa like Olandria don't exist, never existed. He just don't give a damn. And the delusion, the delusion that Olandria is sitting in right now made me disappointed and felt a bit sorry for her this entire episode. Olandria sees Nick and Taylor with a handshake. And when Taylor comes over and says to another guy in the villa, yeah, we need to get a handshake. She was like, well, we don't have a handshake. And did y'all catch his response when he was like, well, maybe you're not well liked? Maybe he didn't mean well liked amongst the other islanders. He meant not liked by him. It's just like the like him was by him was silent. He definitely does not like Olandria. And if anybody is watching this show and see how quickly he was able to show affection to Clark, you can clearly see that the connection that Olandria thinks they have is not as tight as she thinks it is. Because one thing I do know about when you are into somebody, affection pretty much comes really easy because you're doing what you naturally want to do. You're not forced to do it. We see him doing something naturally that Olandria him for. Enough said about that. So we coming off a kissing challenge between the Villa and Casa Amor. That Casa Amor ultimately won, by the way. So JT comes and sits next to Huda and tells her that during this challenge she was doing entirely too much. He was like, I didn't like it. It was too much. He was trying to show out and it was bad. And to his credit, I did agree that Huda does a lot. And I understand that you have to outdo the other Villa. But I feel like if you have chemistry like Sierra and Elon, like Chris and Shelly, the kiss would win itself if there's some chemistry. But Huda always has to do a lot. Like she put this ass tongue out, licking all over people. She was doing the same thing to Jeremiah in those challenges. And I saw that she did the same thing with JT. Yes, JT, JD, whatever his name is. But it was just a lot. And he expressed it. And I think she took offense. And instead of her turning to Hurricane Huda, she composed herself very well and was able to just say, hey, well, if you don't like dominant, go look for somebody a little bit more submissive. And she got up and dismissed herself like a lady. So I appreciated her for turning the narrative around that she is problematic. So kudos to Huda. Ace and Coco. Now, obviously, she's a cute girl. I did kind of mention her orange tooth. Did anybody else notice that, or it was just me? I don't know. With her and Ace, I could tell that his mind was elsewhere the entire time. It was like he was getting to know her, but he already had in the back of his mind that he wouldn't allow himself to get to a point where he desired her more than Shelly. Was that me? I don't know. Ace's level of restraint, and I talked about wishing that I was wishing that Nick had it, and I also wish that Taylor had it. But in Taylor's defense, I'm going to be Team Taylor a little bit on this, because it's not that he didn't have what it takes to be what Olandria needs. He didn't want to be. But one thing that I wish that he could learn from Ace is to just be transparent. Because the moment Olandria came back in there and he realized his feelings were stronger for this other girl, he should have just told her. He should have just told her instead of providing her a false sense of hope that the decision was so hard for him. And is it me? Or I just hate to hear Taylor talk. Like when they made him give the speech on Eliminate Jeremiah, I was like, who nominated him as a spokesperson? He'd be like, yeah, you know, it's a real hard decision, man. Cause you know, it was like a real hard decision. You know, I couldn't, you know, we had to make a real hard decision. I'm like, he didn't. Sorry, excuse my language. He that student that the teacher called on to read it, everybody be like, oh. You know, I just hated that they got to call on him to do anything. But him telling Olandria like it's gonna be a hard decision, I didn't buy it. It was a crack of bullshit, and he knew it. Any dog without eyes can see that he was gonna choose Clark. Prepare for bed. And did y'all see when Olandria was the last one to walk to the bed, she had to walk past Taylor and Clark, and she saw how he was cuddling her. Now, if you were around anywhere through episodes 1 through 21, you did not ever see him on Olandria like that. Ever. I feel sorry for her, y'all. After this episode, I really did feel sorry for her. She sees Clark and Taylor cuddled up, and that just really made me sad. I was like, from that little part alone, if I were Olandria, I would have got up in the morning and made a conscious effort to move the fuck on, because at this point, you were just being embarrassed. Andrina and Brian, they look really cute together. In my personal opinion, it doesn't look better than her and Jeremiah, but I'll take it. They haven't been getting much camera time, and I would really like to see more of them because they seem to have built something, but we just haven't seen it. And a little part of me is still hoping that there's an itty bitty chance of hope that Jeremiah will walk through the door again and test their connection. What do y'all think? Clark sits with Olandria. She pulls Olandria for a chat. And this was super awkward. I know it was awkward just based on how Clark was looking, but I applauded her for even doing it because she really didn't owe Olandria anything. It's Taylor's decision. Olandria talks about how hard it is seeing Clark and Taylor be so affectionate when she said she had to work so hard for them to get to a little bit of affection. And I know that prior to the girls leaving for Casa Amor, that her and Taylor's physical, you know, attraction toward one another pick up. But I do feel like that was forced. I haven't seen it for them since episode 1. I haven't seen that working. I think they built a rapport based on being Southern and from the country and those things. But I don't think that's enough to sustain a relationship because you just can't buy chemistry. You can't buy it and you can't force it. And I feel like from the beginning it was forced. I didn't feel like Taylor had any know-how when it came to pursuing a woman, but now I know that it's not true because I've seen him do it with Clark. Clark tells Olandria that she wants to respect their relationship, and if they do want to continue to explore, she wants to respect it. But she also doesn't want to discount what she has built with Taylor in an amount of 3 days. And I thought that was fair to say. Did y'all hear them playing The Boy Is Mine? A different rendition of The Boy Is Mine doing that little segment. I love the song. I need to figure out who sang it so I can add it to my playlist because I liked it a lot. And it was very appropriate for the situation that was going on at hand. Speaking of The Boy Is Mine, are y'all going to the Monica and Brandy concert? I would love to go. So I need to check out tickets in my area because Monica used to be my fave back in the day, and I'm still playing that Brandy album, honey. I'm still playing the Brandy album. Let's be clear about that. Right after Olandria sits with Clark, she then sits with Taylor. She tells him about the kiss between her and Nick, and it was just like, who gives a damn? He didn't give a damn. So I don't know if she was telling him that to get some emotion out of him or telling him just to be honest, but just giving the cold shoulder that he's given her since she came back to the villa. If she had any wherewithal, she would know that he does not care. She also proceeded with the delusion by sharing with Taylor that even though she sees that he is more physical with Clark, it's gonna take a bad B to come and steal him from her after they've built this connection over 2 weeks. And at this point, I was like, girl, just leave with your pride. If you ain't got nothing else, just leave with the little pride you got left. Because he don't want you, ma'am. After that conversation, Taylor went right over there and laid up under the girl Clark. TJ and Hannah connected. How y'all feel about that? I'm like Wendy Williams when she said, raise your hand if you care. I don't give a damn about TJ or Hannah. They can both go home, actually. Amaya trying to connect with JT. Raise your hand if you care. I know a lot of people do care about Amaya on this show, but I just don't. I wish she'd go. I feel like they got so many couples at this point that they can eliminate 3. And if I could just, from the top of my head, eliminate anybody, it would be that TJ and whoever he with, and Amaya and whoever she's with. And as quiet as it's kept, I would get rid of Olandria too. At this point, I'm tired of seeing her. We haven't evoked any emotion out of her. Even when she left and the girls was crying, she didn't cry. And I'm not saying you have to cry, but I'm just saying, how much do you care about being here? I see a lot of raw emotion from everybody else. I don't know if she's trying to portray this strong black woman and I've had to be there for all these people all my lifetime to think, but cut the shit. Be yourself and be honest with us, the viewer, and be honest with yourself. If you feel like you need to cry, cry. Because at this point, I feel like she feels cold, and I'm just not into it. They really should have voted her off this episode, but we'll talk about that. Back at CASA, Shelly gets a text that today is the day that they'll be returning to the villa, right? Poor Olandria. I was saying poor Olandria this whole damn episode. Because then they cut to her in a photo booth saying, yeah, I'm finna mess his head up with this one. And I'm like, what did she do? Who head is she about to mess up? She didn't even mess Taylor's head up when she surprised back into the villa with his friend. He gave 0 damns. And so she goes to take pictures. I guess they were supposed to be sexy pictures to lead to Taylor to make the decision harder for him, maybe to choose her over Clark. As we can see a second or two later when he discovered the photos in his drawer, it didn't mean a hill of beans to nobody that saw it. Although when Taylor does talk to Olandria, he be like, yeah, it's gonna be a hard decision. I mean, it's real hard decision. I really hate to pick between 2 girls. Who letting somebody that talk like that choose between him and anybody? I would have eliminated my damn self before I let Taylor sit there and choose me in between me and somebody. She can have them. Hearing Olandria say she feels like they have more than just the villa and she could see them thriving outside of the villa, meaning her and Taylor. I hate that she didn't allow herself to make a real connection with anybody else on this show. And isn't that the same thing that Ace was mad at Jeremiah for doing? But they sat and did the exact same thing, and I didn't see him scrutinize anybody else like Olandria or like Sierra and Nick. They did the exact same thing. Now she's in a position where she's the odd man out. The only person that she decided to connect with formed connections elsewhere. And now she left here looking stupid and need to be the next one out. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. Iris expressed concerns that TJ and her shared a brief connection that she thought was a connection. And she's nervous that in the short amount of time that they've been gone, she doesn't know who he's exploring back at the villa. I like Iris. I do want Iris to find somebody. I think she came in there as one of those girls that's like a home girl to all of the guys. She truly got to talk to all of the guys. And every one of them always said, if you go back and look at the clips, they've always said that she was just so easy to talk to. The conversations flowed, and it just felt good to have that. She came in at a tough time being there for Jeremiah when he was going through it with Hurricane Huda. So I really like that about Iris, and for that reason, I do want her to find somebody. I'm not sure if it's TJ because he's so damn boring, but if it is, I'm happy for her. Ariana shows up looking beautiful and gorgeous as usual in this nice little number with the cutouts on the side. Ariana always looks really good. I wonder who's styling her. She sees the girls. She says she misses them at the villa. She tells them what the boys have been up to. She said that they have been there with new girls, of course. They coupled up with those new girls and explored new connections. And when the recoupling happened, she did make them aware that one boy was not picked and had been eliminated from the island. So, of course, the girls are like, oh my God, I wonder who it's going to be. So the coupling begins. They start bringing out everybody with their new couples. So Austin comes out with Jaden. TJ comes out with Vanna. Pei comes out with Grayson. Ace comes out with Coco. And did y'all see the look on Shelly? That was my first time seeing Shelly look blush, because let's not even bullshit. Coco is a beautiful girl. And then they had on the same color. Do y'all think production had something to do with what they were? Because I think it was mighty funny that all the brown skins had on yellow and was looking really good. And may I add that when Olandria came out in her yellow, it was like each yellow came out looking better than the last yellow. Like Shelly looked good, then damn Coco came out looking better, and then damn Olandria came out looking best body yellow outfit. Ace came out with Coco, and then Taylor came out with Clark. Once Sierra saw that there was no Nick, the tears just flowed. And I really like Sierra. I got some favorites amongst the girls that I really do like. Sierra is one of my top. Shelly is also one of my top. And I do really want Iris to find somebody. So if one of those three girls won this whole thing, I would be truly happy. But I would still have to say that Shelly is probably my favorite. Why they let this girl cry like that? Why would they let Sierra cry for 2 to 3 minutes straight? I mean, cry all her little concealer off under her eyes. And then just for Ariana to say, oops, it must have slipped my mind. There is one additional couple that we forgot. And then Olandria and Nick walks back out together, right? And to see Sierra run up and hug Nick, that was a beautiful moment. But I wish it was a beautiful moment without a scumbag. I feel, again, Nick is easy. If somebody good looking would have been in that villa, he would have not picked Sierra. I don't think that he picked Sierra because their connection is strong. I think he picked Sierra because he knew Sierra was going to pick him, and there was nobody else. There was nobody else for him. If he and Olandria would have really had that chemistry, I don't think he would have picked Sierra. I just don't. What are y'all thoughts? Please drop down and tell me. The way Sierra ran and kissed Nick when he ran out. Although I know how strongly Sierra feels about Nick, I'm conflicted because I'm like, they did have sex. And is her connection strong because the connection is strong? Or is she digmatized and caught up in that 132nd moment that they both shared, that it has clouded her judgment in such a way that she's thinking it's something that is not? I don't know, and I guess time will tell. But anyway, while they were sharing this juicy kiss, the only thing that I could think about was Elon, y'all. Out of all the guys at Casa Amor, I really like Elon. I told y'all I'm down for the swirl now. If I'm down for the swirl, it would be somebody like Elon. I think he is a beautiful person. He seems sincere and genuine. And I hope he finds somebody. Really? Him and Iris, I'm not sure if they ever talk, but I think that personality-wise, I think they would have probably hit it off great. I did see the next preview where he and Olandria are gonna connect. I don't know what that's gonna look like until I actually see the exchange between the two. But I really do like Elon, and I would have been okay had Sierra picked him and not went back to Nick. That would have shook the table a little bit. Let me know y'all thoughts about this, because this is something I thought about too. Do y'all think they should have gave these people more time at CASA or more? Because I do. I felt like it would have evened the playing field from these people, because I do feel like the Villa people be like, you can't steal my man. I've been with him for 2 weeks. I've been with him for 2 weeks. And these people only got 3 days to build a connection to change your mind. I feel like they at least needed a week, at least a full 7 days, so that they can really have something to compare it to. Because 3 days, I'm still like, I don't know if you better than my person or not. I ain't gonna move yet. But if you had that full week, anything is anything. Because we saw where Huda and Jeremiah was within a week. And if they can do that, anything can happen. So Ariana asked everyone to stand up on their circle. And this is the end of the episode now. And everybody had a whiteboard in their hand with a writing instrument. And she asked each of them to write down the name of the person that you would like to couple with. But in order to be coupled with this person, they also have to have your name written on their board. So I'm just going to go down the line with who wrote who down and who didn't get chosen and whatever. So first they started with Austin. Austin chose Jaden and she chose him. No issues there. Amaya chose Zach K, and Zach K chose her. But JT had also chose Amaya, so he's out. Andrina chose Brian. Brian chose her. Perfect match. Zach C chose Iris. Zach C chose Iris. But Iris chose to stay with TJ. And TJ also chose Iris. So JT, you out. She went outside, baby. Ace chose Shelly. Shelly also chose Ace. But Coco chose Ace. So Coco's out. Okay. Huda chose Chris and Chris chose Huda. But did y'all see the conversation that Huda and Shelly had prior to them returning to the villa? They talked about that. Huda did tell Shelly that she was interested in exploring Chris. And I think it was a say less situation for Shelly because she already knew that she would pick Ace. They are exploring this on a sexual level, right? That's what got it kicked off, that kiss. But I hope it can turn into something more for Huda. But I'm a little bit concerned at how easy it is for her to lick on everybody's body. I just find it disgusting and gross. Not only is the kissing, and y'all have to kiss each other mouth to mouth, back to back, that's disgusting in itself. But for her to willingly and openly and every time put out her big ass tongue to just lick all on somebody, I just find her to be gutter box nasty. Like, that's just disgusting. But anyway, I feel like Shelly told Chris that she was gonna pick Ace ahead of time. It's just how his reaction was non-existent for me. I felt like her and Huda talked about how that would go, and Shelly just had to pray Ace picked her, and ultimately he did. Elon picked Sierra, but Sierra chose Nick, of course. So Elon was out. Taylor picked Clark, of course. That wasn't a shocker. I don't even know why they saved them to last. We knew Taylor was going to pick Clark. Did y'all think he was going to do otherwise? Did y'all think he was going to save Olandria for whatever reason? Because I did not. So Olandria was left, and we all should have known that that's where she would be. So Olandria was out as well. All the girls seemed flabbergasted that Taylor did not pick Olandria. I think it was obvious to the guys. They already knew. And I'm sure the guys have those macho conversations about things after dark, right? So I think they all knew. It's like it was obvious to everyone in the villa except Olandria. And that's where I was really sad for her. Amaya was like, Tay, oh my God, are you serious? And then somebody even said, "Ooh, Taylor, you so easy." And I just thought it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to Taylor. He can't help who he had a natural connection with. He can't help who he likes. And then he is showing effort. And that's all I ask of him. And it just goes to show that all of these men are capable. If they like you, they can be exactly what you need, but they have to want to be what it is that you need. And that's the type of man that you want for you. You don't want somebody you have to tell them to put a hand on your thigh, Olandria. Because a man that wants you you're gonna have to tell him, please, you're doing a little too much touching for me. You know what I'm saying? That's how a guy gonna come about you that wants you. Anywho, so out of all the people that weren't picked, they were vulnerable. And you know being vulnerable on the island is no good. So Ariana did tell us that one boy and one girl would be saved. So they split them up to decide who's staying and who's going. The islanders who were in the villa had to go to one side, and the islanders that were at Casa Amor had to gather to the other side. Now, the Casa Amor people chooses the guy who stays, and the villa people chooses the girl who stays. Now, I think this whole thing was damn rigged because all the villa people came in with the new people. So I imagine that their vote for the girl would go in a newbie's favor. But ultimately, they picked Olandria. And I know goddamn well Taylor didn't vote. Taylor didn't vote because when they announced her name as the one who was staying, he looked disappointed. And the Casa Amor people, they picked Elon, and I think that was the best thing, the best person that they could have picked. I've already expressed just a moment ago how I felt about Elon and how I think he was deserving of it. And I'm so glad they kept him. So the only two people that are on the outs right now is Olandria and Elon. Maybe they can find something. I hope for Olandria's sake that she can. I do want to see a little bit more vulnerability from her. I don't want to hear this, I'm a strong black woman, I've always had to take care of everybody. I don't want to hear that. I really honestly and truly do get tired of hearing it. I want you to just be a woman who's in her feminine era, who is unafraid to show raw emotion, right? Because I feel like that's the only way you're going to actually find somebody, especially on an island like this. Like, some people need to see some emotion from you to know that it's real. Ooh, and that was a word to myself because I get that all the time. But yeah, I hope that she does open up and find something with Elon. If not Elon, somebody else, because I'm sure we'll see newbies entering the villa. It's only episode 22. I think last season had about 36 or 37 episodes. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the future holds for our islanders. And secretly, y'all, I am still hoping that Jeremiah will show up and shake the table with Andrina. And I do hope that we will see more of them because we haven't seen them at all on how they've been connected, her and Brian. So if a vote were up to you guys, who would you have wanted to save out of the one guy and the one girl? I would have definitely kept Elon as the guy. And for the girl, I think I would have kept Coco because I would love to see Coco frolic with some of the guys. And I would like to see Shelly a little bit more uncomfortable with knowing that Coco was still there. So I probably would have saved her. Who would y'all have saved? Please drop down in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. Is there anything I forgot to mention during this episode? No, I mentioned Jeremiah coming back. Yeah, hopefully they send some new people. There's a new episode tonight. I do plan on talking about that. So please like this video, subscribe to my channel. Let's talk Love Island a little bit further. And until next time, peace.